Review time! I got a free copy of Sebastian Crowe's Guide to Drakkenheim module for Foundry. That was a mouthful. From Ghostfire Gaming, those lovely souls over there. I wanted to share it with you, and I'll be 100% honest, I am running Dungeons of Drakkenheim. I'm using the module and the book, so I actually bought the book for myself anyway. If you're playing that, this module is definitely something for you. But even if you're not playing Dungeons of Drakkenheim, if you are looking for a super cool setting, that's what this is. It's pretty much a book or module devoted to the Drakkenheim setting and the world building aspects within it. Let's dive in, shall we? Unlike the other module, this one is strictly for that world building aspect. As such, if you have the other module like I do, of course there are going to be some overlap that are just a little bit redundant. For instance, you'll find like faction information in this module for all those factions that are in Drakkenheim. It is less detailed since those factions are stationed mostly in Drakkenheim, and this book is trying to talk about the larger world, so you get only a snippet about that. However, you also get additional information about things that aren't in the other module. For instance, a list of the old gods and their symbols, as well as, more information about the Sacred Flame, information about the other areas outside of Westmar and the world like Illyria and Caspia. I hope that's how you pronounce any of those. Honestly, this is the main reason I bought the book and wanted the module. I mean, I got the module for free, but this is the main reason I wanted this, was because I wanted more information about that world building stuff, mostly the Sacred Flame, since that's so integral in some of the factions in Drakkenheim. But what I didn't know I wanted and found out when I got this book was the character options within it. So this book comes with a custom class called an Apothecary, which we now have one in our group, so that'll be a lot of fun. It also includes a lot of delirium themed subclasses, so I'm actually going to offer my players the ability to switch subclasses when they level up next if they would like, and they have a subclass for every class in the player's handbook, which is a lot of work. Includes some really cool new feats and features, and also includes toolkits and feats related to those toolkits, which I think is super neat. Outside of the stuff for players and character options, this also includes 10 new monsters. I think the Duchess is already counted as a monster in the other one. This also includes a bunch of NPCs, both that are kind of generic, like doctors and surgeons that might be a part of the world, as well as some that have maybe more story related or historical significance, all complete with artwork and tokens. You don't have to set any of that up, which is fabulous. But obviously that's just the content kind of as a whole. I think the best part of any Foundry module is the compendiums and being able to import all this stuff into your campaign to make it super easy to bring any of these cool features, these spells, actors, items into your world, any world, with relative ease. That to me is the biggest thing. They've set up all the tokens for you and all the images. I absolutely hate having to go into the game and create things from scratch that I've bought in like a physical copy of, or that didn't import correctly, or something that's not SRD related, to create those things over and over again. It's kind of tedious, but with this, obviously you can just import the whole compendium and then drag and drop it onto your player, onto your monster, whatever you need to do, and just call it a day. In particular, the thing I like the most is that all the artwork is already in there, the tokens, the spell icons, the item icons, because to me, that's the most time-consuming part. When you get into the Foundry data folder, you can usually find a lot of these icons in there. It's a mess of folders, and you have to click on each one to find one that you feel like fits this particular thing, and it just feels so tedious and so many clicks, and I just hate that. With a module, I like when they are already set up for you and I don't have to worry about it. This one even includes roll tables and a couple macros and things like that as well, which is super nice. If you like what you're watching, consider supporting me on Patreon, the best way to support creators on YouTube. You can get behind the scenes, plus you can get ad-free versions of my videos. Also, live streams, there's shop discounts, hopefully some paper products coming out, definitely a magazine in the works. There's lots of stuff there. Link in the description. The bigger thing, which I always love, is that there are maps already set up in here with lighting effects, walls, you name it. It's beautiful. I do have to say that for me personally, I don't like that they switched from Dungeon Draft, or if they are using Dungeon Draft, they're using different assets than what they had in the other module, because then when you put them side by side, it doesn't look the same. And so that to me breaks immersion. However, I think that's a me thing. I think most people are pretty okay with just grabbing whatever and using them and making do even if they don't match. I love having more of a cohesive, consistent style throughout my maps, which is also why I love that they use Dungeon Draft for the other one, because I could make my own maps with Dungeon Draft since I own the software, and I can make those maps and put them in and tailor it to look exactly like what I've already been handed. Again, I think this is very particular to me, and I think most people don't care that much. And plus, if you look at these maps, they are very, very beautiful, like well made. The lighting effects are key here, I think, too. Like having those already put in with like special effects, like on an arcane circle, that really saves a lot of time and is really nice. They also have city maps for some of those newer places as well, and I do enjoy the look and feel of those maps. Overall, of course, the book, the journal entries, the module layout is the same as the other one, so if you're using the other one, this will be very familiar to you. If you're not, go watch this other video where I talk more about that layout and my thoughts on it, because it still applies here. I think because it is consistent with the last one, it does make it easier. It makes it easy to jump from the Dungeons of Drakkenheim module into the Sebastian Crowe's guide stuff. Let's talk about price. Now, again, this is a sponsored video, so I got the VTT version for free. I did buy the book myself, it's pretty standard, well-made book. So the Foundry module itself is $39.99. Obviously, I think plus tax, whatever, which honestly I think is worth it. You get quite a few maps, you get new monsters, you get all those spells and feats right in the game, a whole set of new classes and subclasses. I would pay $40 to not have to put all of those hundreds of items in there, The book itself, of course, is just a standard $50, which again, that's pretty standard for most hardcover books, so not a big issue. But if you're looking to get the content without all the modules and all of that, you can also get the PDF version for $25. So you have options. I think it's reasonable, honestly, not having to pick those images, man. Hours. It could take hours for me to set all of this up myself, and I don't have to. And so I appreciate that. Again, though, of course, I do wish for bundles for books and Foundry. That's all. I will forever wish this until people do it on a regular. I want a VTT one and the book. I want the hardcover and this. I know I'm weird, and I'm that weird kind of hybrid DM. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should check out one of these two videos. I'll put them on the screen somewhere about my setup, because I think that might explain a lot. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.